Hello and welcome to The Lucky Roll, an eclectic channel for eclectic games. And today we're going to be unboxing Aliens, another glorious day in the Corps. A day in the Marine Corps is like a day in the farm. Every meal a banquet, every paycheck a fortune, every formation a parade. I love the Corps. Words attributed to Master Sergeant Apone, 2IC of the combat unit aboard the USS Sulaco, sent to investigate the colony of Hadley's Hope on planet LV-426. The fact that I know that is a testament to how much of an impact this movie has had on my life. I saw this film when I was way too young and I have loved it ever since. I still have the original VHS cassette of this film and it barely holds together from the amount of times I watched this film. All I can say is I cannot wait to unbox this because even from the opening image, I'm loving it. Aliens is the best of all the Alien movies. It's one that defined an entire genre of sci-fi action. It's a movie that inspired the game Space Hulk. It's a movie that the original incantation of the Doom computer game was based on. Before they made a Doom with demons, it was actually going to be aliens. It's the inspiration for the Tyranids in 40K. This film is one of the few films out there where the sequel is better than the original, and the original is also superb. I adore this film. Now, already looking at this box, I'm already in love with the game. Mainly because it has the words aliens. Not Alien, not Alien 3, not Alien Resurrection, not Alien vs. Predator, but Aliens. The best film out of the entire franchise. It also has perfect imagery. You see here the Weyland-Yutani symbol. You have the pulse rifle and you have M40 grenade rounds on the ground. And the pulse rifle has only one round left. Now, an interesting bit of movie trivia about this is the pulse rifle was actually a Thompson machine gun. The Thompson machine gun gave it a big, huge kind of punch sound. It was like a real solid kind of recoil and sound effect. And that was the actual rifle they used in the movie. This part here, the grenade launcher, was actually a pump-action shotgun that was cut to size and put under the Thompson machine gun with all this other cool pieces of the pulse rifle put on top of it. This is just an iconic weapon, and any kid my age, all we wanted was one of these to play with and to fight with. Now, checking over the back of the box, we see here all the goodies that we're going to get in it. Now, we have, of course, 4 different types of aliens that are multi-pose, so that's a good thing. We have here several human characters, 7 of them. So we have Newt with Hicks's helmet. We have Ellen Ripley. We have Frost, I believe, because he's got the flamethrower. We have Vasquez because she's got the smart gun. We have Lieutenant Gorman. We have Hudson, of course, because he's got his motion tracker. And we have, of course, Corporal Hicks with his trusty shotgun. Now, Corporal Hicks, of course, is a particularly favourite character of mine because, well, I was a corporal myself. So I can completely appreciate the pressure and fear he felt when poor old Master Sergeant Apone disappeared into that nest. Anyway, with no further ado, I have got to open this box because I just cannot wait. Now, opening the box for the very first time, we are greeted with the rulebook. Now, it's a nice, short, comic-sized rulebook. We have here a list of all the components. The rulebook is 27 pages long. It has a quick reference part here in the back with the Marine phase, the Alien phase, and the Finnish phase. We have a simple setup here. We've got perfect stills from the movie. So, given that I'm such a fan of the movie, I'm delighted to see it. And there's stills of the movie absolutely everywhere. We've got pogs, we've got tokens, we have pictures of Ripley. So it's great to see that the license for the actual film has been used to full effect. Now this is nice, simple, straightforward, colourful, perfect, and I love it. The next thing we are greeted with is player boards. So as you can see here, this is Mission 1 Newt. So, opening this up, we are greeted with what I presume is a template for the actual mission. So this, of course, is the mission board and the setup keys. And we have the details of the mission here in the back and the actual mission there. The second mission is Escape. Now, as you can see, it's a different layout. And with the scenario here on the back, we have Mission 3, Survive. We have the Rescue mission, the Supply mission, Bug Hunt, Hadley's Hope, Bug Hunt, Atmosphere Processing Plant, Bug Hunt, Outpost Alpha 116, and Bug Hunt, Supply Depot. So there is plenty of scenarios and missions here, and as you can see as well, there's a nice difference to all of them. So we have here Lieutenant Vasquez, and the first time the Marines on their first sweep of the base entered into the medic section. We have here, before they even entered, the atmosphere processor, and you have Hicks checking out the alien for the very first time, a dead facehugger actually. We have here Helen Ripley ready to kick arse with her flamethrower and pulse rifle. We have, of course, the atmosphere processor that Bishop was pointing out. We have here the outside of the command center, and we have, of course, this is Hudson bragging, I believe, just before he was bragging to Ripley about what the Marines were capable of. We have here, of course, this is where Newt actually put on Hicks's helmet, but this is where they were going through the schematics, trying to seal off everything before the aliens could get into them. And this, of course, was the moment just before the sentry guns failed. We have here Rescue Mission, of course, with Newt and Ellen Ripley down at the start. We have Survive, which, of course, these are the sentry guns, and we have the time when, I'm probably going to spoil the movie here, but I imagine everyone has seen the film. This was where one of the characters betrayed the rest of them and unleashed a couple of facehuggers on them. We have here Corporal Hicks, Escape, and we have the outside of the atmosphere processor. And of course we have Newt, which I presume is the very first mission in this game where we meet her. So we have great scenarios there, nice little flip sheet, all good to go. We have here the aliens. Now this is the Marine Assembly Guide. It seems quite straightforward, everything is numbered. You'll probably need just standard plastic glue to assemble it. But yeah, otherwise, you know, there's nothing here that you need to be a massive modeler for. We have here the aliens. So it is, of course, double-sided. So, of course, you're assembling the main body here, and you have the tails here. We have here the cardboard tokens. Now, as you can see here, we have what looks like to be alien pogs. So these will be the aliens that will be coming. This is probably the amount of aliens underneath it. We have facehuggers here. We have sentry guns here. We have the Weyland-Yutani supply boxes here. Now, the cool thing about our competition is it comes with the Assets and Hazards addition set or expansion set. So instead of using these tokens, if you win our competition, you'll actually have the plastic miniature versions of these to play with instead. We have here Barricades. We have what looks like to be broken vents, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and just the other side of these. We have here what I presume is the ammo for the pulse rifles, and what I like, of course, is they have the ammo counter in the exact same font as the ones on the film. And we have the remote sentry guns here as well, with a similar ammo count. Now, this is something I'm already in love with the game with, because they have all the little touches absolutely right. I mean, I'm sure anyone who's familiar with the extended version of the film remembers the scene with the sentry guns, and that is the exact font as it appeared. And those, the exact same thing with the same font for the amount of rounds left. So, in terms of fan service, they've gotten everything right so far. We have here POG numbers, and we have, of course, Private William L. Hudson. We have Corporal Dwayne Hicks. Corporals, of course, are the, well, you know, they're the ones that do everything in the army. We have Ellen Ripley. We have the back sides of them. So what I like here as well, it's they've gone the extra mile. So you can see here you have Corporal Hicks in action mode, Corporal Hicks in rest mode. You have Ripley in rest mode and Ripley in action mode. And you have the same here with Private Hudson, two separate stills from the film. And again, it's a nice little thing where in so many cases where you flip the side of the card, it's the same imagery but just a different color. They've actually used two different stills. We have Lieutenant Gorman here, Private Vasquez, and we have, yep, it was Private Frost with the flamethrower. And of course, on the other side, we have Private Frost in resting position. We have Vasquez with her famous "All I need to know is where they are" line. And we have Lieutenant Gorman. And finally, we have Newt with her famous line, "They mostly come at night." Mostly. Now, I never knew her surname was Jordan, so she's Rebecca Newt Jordan. Now, Newt was a name given to her by her brother. Newt was a name given to her by everyone. Only her brother called her Rebecca. And she's here tidied up, and here after they barely escaped the first time the Marines got attacked. We have a reshuffle card here. We have the bug stomper symbol here, which is pretty cool. We have another cursor here. We have motion tracker, discard, endurance, exhaust, and discard. So we have a specific spot for cards here, and we have two exit signs here, which is great. And we have the cool alien, the Colonial Marine symbol here. These are the player boards, and one thing I will say immediately is that they did the walls correctly. One of the things I was worried about with this game was that it would be like, say, the Resident Evil 2 game. A very dark game, but the problem was the borders were all in black. So if you weren't playing with perfect light, you couldn't see where the corner ended or where everything turned around. The board wasn't distinctly clear enough. Here it is unmistakable where the boards are, where the lines are. So already that's a big plus. It's double-sided, so we have here what looks to be the alien nest. As you can see, the alien goop is all around here. We have a couple of poor Marines up here. As you can see, barely their heads. So there is nice little bits and pieces of detail in this. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 boards, which are all double-sided. So I presume it's a mixture of both. So we have what seems to be the normal Hadley's Hope on one side and the Aliens Landscape on that. The same with this one and the same with this one. We also have what looks like to be medbay here, actually, because you've got the containers that the facehuggers are in and a dissected facehugger there. So the art style in this is, well, I have to be honest, it's a little basic, but nevertheless, it's practical and functional, especially with the white line borders. So that was one of my main concerns with the game, was that it would be indistinct like the Resident Evil 2 board game boards, but no, that's perfect, does the job superbly. And we have here the sprue for the Marines. Now, as you can see, there is very nice detail on them. Now, this is something I'm going to treasure painting and putting together. As you can see here, we have Vasquez's smart gun. We have Hicks's shotgun here. We have a pulse rifle here. We have Hudson here with his little motion tracker. And we have, of course, Newt here, all in one piece. Now, I actually have the Marines from the Protoss game, Aliens vs. Predator: The Hunt Begins. So, just to do a quick size comparison, they are quite literally the same size. So, if by chance you happen to have the Aliens vs. Predator game as well, there is nothing stopping you using these figures, I believe, if you wanted to shake up the game a bit or invent your own core rules or games, because the figures are roughly the same size. And the base is a touch smaller, of course. So the base is a touch smaller. So as you can see, the base for the Protoss game is a fraction bigger. I'd say an extra 2 millimeters diameter bigger. However, we'll just see if it fits on the actual board. And it's not perfect on the board, but it does fit So, I mean, as long as you're not squashed. So, you could use the miniatures from the original AVP game if you want to. They are, of course, of a similar size. So, if you ever wanted to homebrew some missions or throw in reinforcements or even invent a follow-up section of Marines that goes in to investigate what happened, you always could. There's nothing stopping you with a bit of imagination. So those were the Marines, and we have here 4 sprues of aliens. Now, of course, the other handy thing is that they are 2 distinct colors, so there's nothing stopping you starting the game straight away. Now, I actually happen to have an alien from the Aliens vs Predator game as well, so obviously I can't assemble it, but at least in certain things, like say the tail, for example, is here, and the tail from this miniature is here, so they are roughly, again, the same size. We have kind of a fully extended alien body here, and this alien body is slightly bigger. So the Protoss miniatures, if you already have them, are slightly bigger, but nevertheless, if you want to use already painted miniatures, there's nothing stopping you. The base again is slightly smaller as well, because I suppose the board is smaller, but just in terms of comparison, the details on these are perfect. I mean, as you can see here now on this one, you have a alien head with the tongue coming out. The detail is nice, distinct, perfect. There's no obvious flash from what I can see, and everything is plastic, so it's not going to be like the resin models of the first edition of the AVP Protoss game, where you have to use a certain type of glue. Normal plastic glue, such from, say, Citadel or Revell or Airfix or anything like that, will sort you out with these. And we have 4 sprues of the aliens. The next thing we have is die. So we have 2 D10 and a normal D6. Now the D6 is, I like the color of it actually, the kind of the light green, so it's probably an ammo counter. And we have a D10 with a star on it. So that's the same thing twice. We have the pips for the dials in the game. We have a set of cards, so these are the player aid cards. So just taking them out, you have here the Marine phase and all the different steps you can do. They are double-sided, so as you can see there is quite a lot of them, and you have the Marine phase, Alien phase, and so on. We have here, now already I'm loving this because this is the symbol from Hicks's motion tracker. This was literally the last thing you saw before that famous scene where they all dropped down from the ceiling, where there was actually hordes of them somehow inside the room, and they couldn't figure it out until they slowly realized that they were crawling in above them. Now I'm just going to open this deck if I can. So opening this deck, we have an alien scout, alien vanguard, lurker, a false alarm, alien assault, alien drones, flanking aliens, and false alarm. So obviously these are akin again to the Resident Evil 2 game, if you've ever played it, where these are what I would presume are tension decks. So basically at the end of your turn or at the end of a certain section, you flip the card to see what either appears on the board or what you are facing with. So it can be anything from alien scouts to alien lurkers to alien vanguards to even false alarms. So that's a mechanic I love in board games because it always adds a good bit of tension. And we have here what seems to be the Alien Colonial Marines deck. So opening this one, we have a whole multitude of cards. So we have here the Alien Pulse Rifle, or sorry, the Alien Pulse Rifle, the M41A Pulse Rifle, modeled there by Frost. We have the M40 grenades, which Ripley, of course, took a whole heap of them with. We have the Ithaca 37 shotgun, which I presume is Corporal Hicks's shotgun. with the M56 Smart Gun, which is just incredible, the Heckler Koch VP70 pistol, we have the M240 flamethrower, we have the arc welder. So it's great that this is in the game because that means that Marines can seal the doors behind them. We have the Hadley's Hope map, which I presume will allow you to explore certain parts. We have body armor, which means, fortunately, that the Marines might survive a hit or two. We have the shoulder lamp, which I presume will illuminate the board. So if you have certain things like pings or pogs coming forward where you don't know how many aliens there are, this might tell you how many there are, or it might even increase your line of sight. You have a flare, so I presume that illumination must be a part in this game. You have the M4 helmet, modelled of course by Little Newt, which of course this is the pose her miniature is based on. You have the motion tracker, of course, which was just a brilliant part of the film. You have the bypass, so I presume Hudson is very useful in getting past certain doors. You have the medical scanner. You have the Look Sharp card, so I presume that means it allows your Marines to get into a state of combat readiness. You have Do Something Gorman, which allows you to stand up any knocked down character, so this I presume is something like a revival card. It's Read and Write Man Look, which is one of the best things in the film, where there was so many of the aliens coming in at them. You have Building Better Worlds by Weyland-Yutani. You have I Feel Safer Already, which is reroll a failed defense roll, but that was Private Hudson being a sarcastic SOB towards the lieutenant. Go to Sleep and Don't Dream, which allows you to recycle up to 6 cards from the exhaust deck. We got Knives, we got Sharp Sticks, which is a quote from Hudson. It's in the extended version of the film, but he's bragging to Ripley about all the armaments they have and the ordnance they have, and towards the end he just starts taking the mick and he says he's got knives and sharp sticks. You have Do It Fast, a great line when Vasquez was trying to weld the door shut. You have Keep Moving Baby, words from Frost actually. They got a fright when they were going into the med bay and something dropped. Completely innocent. I believe it was dropped by Gorman, or yes, it was dropped by either Gorman or Burke, but frightened everyone. A perfect moment of tension in the movie, but yep, that was just Frost telling Hicks and another Marine there to keep going. We have Last Stand, which is always a cool card. Okay, what can I do? This is a great scene in the movie where where Corporal Hicks is teaching Ripley how to use the pulse rifle. Just Deal With It, which was Ellen Ripley in the movie coming into her own and telling Hudson to cop the hell on. Resolve, which is, I think, very apt, because one thing I love about this movie is that the strongest character of all the Marines, of all the corporate executives or the hard asses, the strongest character in the movie, with possibly the exception of Newt, was Ellen Ripley herself. So to see her being the face of Resolve, I think is perfect. You have Stop Your Grinnin', Drop Your Linen, We Found 'Em. A famous line from Private Hudson when they found the colonists. Ever been mistaken for a man, which was a smart arse line that Hudson said to Vasquez. It was a great introduction to the character. Her answer was, no, have you? We have We're in the Pipe 5x5, which was the when the dropship was coming in to land at the planet. You always were an asshole, which was pretty much, spoiler here, but one of Vasquez's last words to Lieutenant Gorman, and I think his redemption as a character, because the two of them died very bravely. We have Did IQs Just Drop Sharply, which was a line near the start of the movie when Ellen Ripley is trying to explain what happened to her old mining ship and crew. So this one says, play after a character fails a tech test. Reroll that test. If they fail again, exhaust 2 endurance cards. If they pass, draw up to 2 endurance cards. So, like, as a movie buff and as a huge fan of this film, it's great to see these quotes being attributed to it. We have the squad of ultimate badasses, which was Master Sergeant Apone psyching up his squad. Somebody Wake Up Hicks, another line from Master Sergeant Apone. And we have Burke's Treachery, which was one of the, he would have been the human villain in the film. You have Game Over Man, which is a line that has been plagiarized a million times thanks to the fantastic delivery by Hudson. You have Blinding Rage, and this is a perfect still for that actual card, because this was the moment in the movie where Ellen Ripley lost it and destroyed the whole nest with grenades, with a flamethrower. She emptied the entire pulse rifle. It was a moment of absolute catharsis, and I love the fact that they put this image with this card in this game. And finally, we have the last card, which is quite an ominous one, which is Losing Hope. Now, I've heard that this game is quite a tough one, so to hear Losing Hope is an interesting one. Now, a little butterfly came in there. So this, ladies and gentlemen, was the unboxing of Aliens, another glorious day in the Corps. Now, as I said before, this is our competition game, so please check out the link at the end of this video to see how you can enter the competition. And stay tuned to this channel, because we will be unboxing the Get Away From Her, You Bitch expansion. And we will be unboxing the Assets and Hazards box set, as well as the Ultimate Badasses expansion. So until next time, this is Sean from The Lucky Roll. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, all that good YouTube stuff. And until next time, good luck and God bless.